We kick off this episode with a looming challenge that's bound to trouble us in the future. Those relentless underground mobs that just refuse to disappear. Then, we venture into the long-anticipated construction of our library. Currently, lacking any reading or writing material, we're taking it one step at a time. Soon after, we find ourselves back in the trenches, dealing with those persistent underground pests. It's a never-ending cycle. Eliminate one, and more appear. It turns out, keeping the underground farm undisturbed requires more than non-stop patrolling. The solution? Walls and a bridge, with the bridge perpetually raised. Doors are just too easy for any mob to open. Amidst our bustling trade with fellow dwarves, a special monster attacks. My concern peaks, as it's a flying creature and we are yet to establish a ranged squad. The beast, surprisingly, instead of picking off stragglers or our animals, it descends into our tunnel where our professional fighting squad awaits, making short work of the intruder. Next on our agenda, as promised in the last episode, is the daring raid on the Necromancer Tower in our region. With a mix of fear and anticipation, we await our dwarves' return, hoping for a bountiful haul. Following that, we focus on expanding, creating more rooms for our administrators and contemplating the appointment of a dungeon master as our population grows and the potential for crime increases. While checking on the library, a pleasant surprise awaits. Our dwarves return sooner than expected, and after scrutinizing through the logs, we find no losses, having looted as much as possible. The Cult of Bronze, boasting a significant number of followers nowadays, continues to grow. Now they request a larger temple to accommodate the local cult that keeps on growing. In a twist of fate, or maybe a blessing from the Bronze Cult, our agreement to build a bigger and more beautiful temple yields a legendary artifact while we're mining. A legendary sword. As I play, pondering what to showcase and explore, I encounter a well-known bug. Two of my elite squad members are lost in the limbo, never to return home. After spending hours searching for a fix, trying different solutions, and saving and loading, I realize I've strayed far from the purpose of this series. The initial goal, set in the first episode, was to explore, learn, and share my limited knowledge of the game, engaging in a collective thought process with you all in the comments. However, the sandbox effect, coupled with my lack of planning, led me astray, chasing million directions simultaneously and achieving little. Dwarf Fortress is a game with an overwhelming amount of freedom, unlike any other sandbox I've played. The detailed possibilities are so vast that it's easy to feel lost, and any progress seems inconsequential because there's always more to be done. I've experienced a sentiment shared by many others that are just beginning to play the game. The game becomes boring once you've established a self-sustainable fort. But Dwarf Fortress is what you make of it. You plan, you adapt, you try new things, new biomes, base layouts, capture beasts, cultivate strange cave-dwelling pets, and everything beyond that. Unlike the real-life saying, where sky is the limit, in this game the underground depths are your limit. So strike the earth and embark on your journey and try to plan ahead, and don't be afraid to try new things. As a personal note, these ideas are applicable beyond the game, enhancing your life with more enjoyment. Don't fall into the trap of thinking life is boring. There's so much out there waiting to be experienced when you have a plan and willingness to try new things. Just like with the game, we sometimes fail to notice the differences that happen every day and feel lost when we fail to plan and live life with a purpose. I never expected the game to pose such a real-life problem, but I am glad that it did, as it made me reflect on the way I usually play these kind of games and the ways I've been living my life recently. So, without getting too deep into the theory of life, What I want to share is that I realized that we need to live life with a purpose. Bigger, smaller, it's up to you. Weekly, yearly, it's up to you. But just try and wake up with a plan and start the game with a plan, and the life will start to make more sense as you carry on. And now, for some unexpected fun, we find ourselves under attack by goblins. Due to some missing logs, the reason for our conflict with the nearby clan eludes me. Fortunately, both our squads are home. The elite and junior squad unite to face the threat while everyone seeks shelter inside. The goblins approach a vulnerable portion of our wall, which is due to my oversight. We sally out to meet them, slaying ranged, melee, and snatcher goblins alike. The fight is nearly casualty-free, except for one junior dwarf who requires medical attention. I must admit, watching those battles with their minimal movements and graphics is oddly satisfying. One of my favorite moments is when dwarves punch goblin teeth out. Seeing them fly along the map squares is just too much fun. It's the little joys in Dwarf Fortress that make it so engaging. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. I've decided to retire this fortress. It served its purpose, teaching me crucial lessons about Dwarf Fortress and life. Perhaps one day we'll return to reclaim it. Until then, strike the earth, and may your journeys be filled with grand tales and daring exploits. Cheers!